What's up, everybody? Mike Dreyden here, and I am happy to introduce you and welcome the one, the only, the most magnificent, Bianca Leigh!
Hey.
What's up, darling? How are you?
Hey.
Awesome.
Very.
Listen, I have been very sad, only because of my Broadway schedule didn't match up with your Broadway schedule, and I didn't get to see you in the nap at all, and I wanted so much to talk to you about it. How was that for you?
It was great. I have a cat decided to come up at him at the same time.
Okay. Pet the kitty off camera?
Yes, the kitty off camera. This one, yeah. So it was great. I mean, it was absolute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It was fantastic. It was a dream come true. You pass by those Broadway theaters, and you see the stage door, and you're like, oh, one day, and I had the opportunity. Get out of here. Get out. I don't want to be cruel, but it's like that guy like pushing his daughter away. Remember him? And then the wife comes in, Frantica.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience. I got to work with a great cast, and I understood Johanna Day and Alexandra Billings.
Yeah, I love her.
They're both wonderful, and the whole cast is great. And I got the call that I was going on, about 11 in the morning, and I went in and I was ready. I knew my lines backwards and forwards. I had the fitting.
Yeah. I got to see that.
We had a lot of understudy rehearsals, and I went in and got ready. They were teasing me because I got there like many hours before I had to go on, but I figured, let me put on my face and all that in advance, so that because the closer you get to going on, your hands are going to start shaking. So it was fantastic. And then yeah, I mean, it was like
lipstick.
The co-stars was like, you're not going on for 2 whole hours. But it's like, let me do this. It's all about being prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I went over my lines for both parts every day religiously, because I knew, you throw lights and audience, costumes. That's all very distracting. So I was ready.
So for those watching who don't know what the NAP is about, tell us a little bit about what it's about.
NAP is about a young man in Sheffield who is very gifted in snooker, which is their take on billiards and pool.
Oh, okay.
And he's very, very talented, and he really believes in the game, and he believes in the magic and the nobility of it, and he's scrupulously honest. And what happens is, the world around him, they want their pound of flesh. They want him to cheat. And it is a comedy. It's a very dark comedy. But it's also kind of a tragic comedy, because this young man just so believes in what he's doing, and he would never want to throw a game. But everything conspires to get him to throw a game, so that all these people around him can make money betting against him. And and the characters are crazy, and Sheffield is fabulous. He's got the most bizarre family, and Waxy is she is a one-armed criminal, and she's not the bookie, but she's involved in a lot of stuff, and she's involved in all kinds of betting and things like that. And she's a lot of fun, and she's crazy. They're all crazy.
So how long, you said you got the call at 11 o'clock that you'd be going on. When did you know that you got the part?
Oh, God. Well, I guess if a few weeks before we started rehearsal, because years ago, understudies might come in to the room and be a part, watch the process. But these days, you go in during tech. So it's probably a couple weeks before tech. And I had done the reading for MTC the year before. They do a series of readings for their artistic director crew and their patrons to decide, what plays they want to do or not do. And I did the reading, and it was a wonderful experience. And they called me in as an understudy, and it was great because I wasn't just understudying Waxy, I was understudying Stella.
Oh.
Who's the mother. And so it was great because I was understudying a trans and a cis role, which is always fat.
What? Oh, I didn't realize that there was a trans role in this. I thought it was just, it was not a gender identity or identification at all. I thought it was just women. That's amazing.
Yeah, Waxy Bush, and then across the pond it was Waxy Chuff. She's a transgender gangster. Which is fun. She's a transgender gangster with one arm. She lost one arm in an accident. And and then Stella's the mom. She's wonderful too. She's completely without morals. So I love playing her. I love playing both of them.
You, from what I saw on just your posts from social media, well, mostly Instagram, it looked like you guys are having a great time. I knew that you were doing something, but I didn't realize it was the show that Alexandra Billings was in, because I follow her on Instagram. I followed her for a long time, and then she posted the photo. I think it was her posting, and then I saw you like right there behind her with this blonde wig on. I'm like, oh my God, that's the same show. I was just like head over heels. I text you that oh my god. So I was just so happy and proud of you. I wish I could have seen it. I really wish I could have seen when you went on.
Well, I had never met Alexandra before. Of course, I knew of her work and admired her. I mean, it really was Alexandra and I for a long time. She was in Chicago and then on the West Coast, and I was here in New York. We were like really two of the only girls that we knew of that were trying to break in. I'm sure there was a few others here and there, because we hadn't come together as a community. There was just a few of us in isolated places trying to get in the door.
Right.
So I'd always heard of her, admired her, and that first day she put her arms around me and said, "I am so glad you're here," and became buddies. And she's a marvelous person.
Yeah.
We just, I mean, I'd always pop my head in to the dressing room, and, we'd kiki for a few minutes. And Johanna Day, who played Stella, so they became fast friends. And it was crazy. 3 old broads. So.
I think that's the magic of theater, because we all go through the process together, and we're creating and working together in such a very intimate, tight environment. Even though there's a very big stage with all these people watching, but it's a very small, intimate environment. I think it really brings people together in a very unique, special way.
It does. it does. I mean, we love being on set. Both of us, we have fun. It's hard to compare the two, but the theater's wonderful. It's a temple of art, and it's a magic place, and you tend to get very close to the people you're working with, and of course you have the audience, and then film is different. I think you spend more time with the crew in film, and that's great because I always love the crew. They have the best stories. And you all really working to, when you're on stage, it's sort of, you've got your part, and of course the director's helping you when you're working with these other people, but it's like, okay, you've got to nail X, Y, and Z, but when you're on set, it's all of it. The angle of the camera, the light, the sound has to be working. There's so many tiny pieces. You're just really working together as a team.
Yeah.
And and it's this hyper focus for 30 seconds, 1 minute, and you're each doing a tiny part of it, and you just got to get that shot. And it's art, but it's also a lot of technical stuff. And when you work in tandem and you nail that shot, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, finally. Got it. Okay, let's print that. I think when we did our scene in Washington Square Park last summer, I think it's one of my favorite episodes that we did together. I've watched, and it's also one of the most viewed on the YouTube channel. I've watched it many times, watching you strut across the street, and then oh, that queen is gonna almost flew out of this park. It was just one of the best days ever to finally do it with you, because I mean we had been like 6 months in preparation for that, and then finally schedules lined up, and then we're like, okay, the weather is great. Actually, it was like really hot out that day, but it all lined up, and yeah, it made the experience and the entire process worthwhile, and we got every single shot. You were amazing in that, and I think that you're trained, you know what you're doing. We've all had, and we continue to train, and we have our experiences, but I think that your cabaret shows, I think I saw you once at the Monster singing, prepared you for that. Yes, a long time. How many cabaret shows have you done over? Because I saw the most recent one. I went to that one. But over the years, how many have you done?
I couldn't really give you a number. I spent about 7 years making a living just from singing in the different bars and clubs, and our gigs were, it's your show and you sing every week, and there's guest shots. When you saw me at the Monster, I was with my dear friend Jessie Volt.
Oh, yes.
For forever, and
yes,
many years, and before that he was a superstar on Long and in Brooklyn, and we worked. I was a guest in Jessie's show for many years, once every couple of months, and I had the pleasure of spending New Year's Eve at the turn of the millennium. Excuse me. I just got up, by the way, so it was fantastic. And I had a really snobby friend that was like, "You're going to spend New Year's Eve 2000 at the Monster?" And I said, "Yes, I am. I'm going to be in the West Village, where I lived at the time,
Right.
I'm going to be with Miss Jessie Volt, my sister. Wonderful people that don't have their head up their ass. And as soon as I'm done, I'm going to walk home and not worry about getting a cab like you. A fabulous place.
I can't imagine anyone doing that whole Times Square thing. It's just, I don't know. I can't imagine.
But I've done a few. I did a few cabaret shows. It was a place called Judys Chelsea on 8th Avenue. It's no longer. It was by the Joyce Theater.
Oh.
And, with the combo and the musical director, and it was fun. Cabaret is very difficult to make a living. There used to be a world in the, way back, 40s, 50s, 60s, where people they could make a living that way. But the live music scene changed, and some people do well, but very few, so you put a lot of work into it, and you have to get a sort of momentum where you get a following. And a lot of us will put a show together and our friends and colleagues will come. And you just have to get beyond that. You can't make a career out of your friends appreciating what you do. You got to get that traction. And that can be tough. It's a different world now.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I was working at a place east of 8th, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. I miss that place a lot.
Yeah, and I was doing a show there in the summer in Billings. How many times have you heard that one, Mikey?
Well.
And I was doing a song, and I enjoyed it, and the audience enjoyed it, and I did another song, and then I did it. And something inside my head said, oh, God, I got to sing another fucking song? Because I love music. And then I realized I am an actress who sings. So I really enjoy tying the music into a story with acting. Or as you saw, I did some, I don't know if you call that stand-up storytelling, what I did the other night in between songs.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're a really good storyteller. The way you telling the story just happened to be, laugh out loud funny. And I think when we tell our own stories, we put a little bit of flair on it. Whether, so it's maybe self-deprecating or, you're trying to intentionally be funny, but you're a natural at it. I mean, me and Puya was sitting right up front. We watched the whole thing. Your gown was stunning, by the way. We loved your hair. But you were telling really funny stories, and some of the not so cool stuff that happened to you recently. You put a funny spin on it, and it entertained. And then all of the music you chose, it seemed obviously intentional, so it would tie each story to the next. As far as I can say, as someone who was in the audience, yeah, it's really good. You're good at it. You're good at it. That's why I wanted you to play Vickie, because I knew you'd be able to tell her story like nobody else would. Oh,
Vickie. Well, it's nice to be the broad amongst all the boys,
You're the first person, actually, when I was writing this, from when it first was like going to be my memoir, and then I thought, I'll do a web series, the scripts and all that. The very first person that came to mind above everyone else, and I'll say this to anybody, it was you. Because I was thinking, who would be my partner in crime? And I thought of you, not only that, but because when we were doing Go-Go Idol together, when you became a regular judge for the party, we really had a kiki together. We really, bonded together. And I've always adored you. So I'm like, you know what? It's going to be Bianca. She's going to say yes. I had no doubt you would say yes. You probably...
it's all about scheduling, Yeah. It's all about, if something comes, we're all trying to make that that transition You know, we're all trying to get that cable show or TV show or network show, whatever. We're trying to get that.
Yeah.
And
once you get on the stage like you did.
Yeah, or the Broadway show, you know, so you're trying to do this creative stuff. And, you know, you're auditioning at the same time, and just pray that if you get something, it won't interfere with the shoot dates.
Right.
You know, but the good thing about, you know, it doesn't cost us $1 million to, you know, a 25 camera, $1 million crew, and all that.
So, working, let's see, how many? I forgot. So you were in the pilot episode. You did our main episode. I think there's one other one. What would you say is your favorite experience about working on Last Call?
You know, my favorite, I think, was this scene where you and I were walking in Union Square Park, and then Tim Moss running up.
Oh, Washington Square Park, you mean?
What did I say?
You said Union Square Park.
What am I, in San Francisco?
I think that was a Freudian slip, because we all want to be on the new Tales of the City.
Yeah. I am really out of it. I can't even. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed that first day with my ear.
Yeah.
And we were sitting on the couch, and he's a kiki.
Yeah.
You know, and we're just on the couch yelling at you, "Hurry up, Mary," or whatever we were saying, you know. And I was in I was in my pink, you know, my pink jogging attire with my boobs to my chin. That was fun. I really liked that, and you know, I just love you and me, and then Tim is just flying up. Oh my god! And it's just like
your fingers covering your camera a little bit.
Huh?
Your fingers covering your camera. There you go. Much better. Yeah, Tim really brought. Let me tell you something. He is amazing. He really made me feel I needed to step it up, because I didn't know what was coming. You know, he's like, I have this idea. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna wear this, and I'm like, you know what? Go for it. This is your moment. You go for it. And he blew my mind. I'm like, I'm not ready for him. I need to step up.
So when you first meet Tim, and you think, I'm going to do this, you think, calm the fuck down. You know, this is not, you know, but once you spend 5 minutes with him, you fall in love.
Yep.
And
you can't help not to.
Because sometimes people that are really enthusiastic and they're coming up with a million ideas, sometimes they're obnoxious. But with Tim, it's really all positive. It's just adding to the whole project. It's not like, oh, I know what I can do to make me look good. I know what I could do. I'm going to keep this whole scene moving.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I got to meet him, because he's been doing very, very well in Cabaret.
Yeah.
And he's at a point in his life where he's not taking any prisoners. Nope. He's like, I am on fire. I'm getting the attention that I have deserved all these years.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm doing it. No, nothing's going to stop me. But it's all coming from a very loving place. So I love it. And we had fun that day. You know, it was hot. And I believe somebody didn't show up. Something like that.
We lost a sound guy because of an emergency. So the fill-in sound guy, he was on standby. He said, if you need me, just let me know. And we needed him, and he showed up. That was Boris.
Yeah.
Nick had a family emergency, but Boris was like, "I'll be right there," and there was no time at all. I don't know how he did it, but it was not even a half an hour. He blew my mind. I love that guy so much. He just had a birthday recently.
Yes, wonderful. It was wonderful, and everyone that worked on the crew was great.
Yeah,
I love the crew. I love my crew. It's all about the crew.
They were all so amazing. That was one of the other blessings that I had in this whole process. Besides all of you guys saying, yes, I'll play the parts, everyone I reached out to when I said, there's really not that much money, but I have this vision, and they were like, yeah, sign me up, I'll do it, and whatever I had or what I could do for them, I did, and they were just there 1,000%. There was not one negative vibe, not one no, not one. It was just, let's make this happen. And there were a couple times, I haven't said this out loud before, but there were a couple times when after we were shooting and I was home and I was downloading footage, and I sat here crying that how amazing it all turned out, because
well, you're a win.
I'm not a win. I'm sentimental.
No, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it is surprising when people it is surprising when people show up for you. Yeah. And you had an idea, and you were and are very enthusiastic about it, and coming from a generous place. It's not like, this is my thing, and I'm the star. You're like, I have this idea. Yes, I am the star, but we're going to spread the wealth around.
It's about me, but it's really about me, how you think of me.
Enough about me. Tell me what you think about me. But
reminds me of that old TV commercial. It was like, enough about me, darling. Tell me what you think of my dress. So was that like a...
That was my
what?
Home, though. Yeah, I mean, I have started to write... I wrote a play that was done at Kansas City Rep, which that's sort of, hoping we'll get a projection of that. But I did a video to promote my cabaret show.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
I did it with Pickles, Michael Wakefield, and we had a really, really great time. And he's got a great set for his department, and he can do glamour photographs and stuff like that. Just a sweet guy and very talented. And if you went Photoshop the next level without making you look like an oil painting, that's what.
That was going to bring me to the last point. Like, what is next for you? What are you doing outside of working on your show and your cabaret acting last fall?
In May, the end of May and June, I am participating in a project that is being funded by the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and an organization called Play On. It is, I think it has 31 Shakespeare plays, are going to be done, all reading, in a festival at the Classic Stage Company here in the East Village.
Oh, wow.
So what they've done is they hired all these young playwrights, half of whom are women, many of whom are people of color. They include people we know, like Jeff Whitty and Taylor Mack. And they've each taken a play. A wonderful player that I've worked with, Christina Anderson. They've each taken a play and I guess tweaked the language so that it's, sometimes they call it a translation, but they've modernized the language. I'm sure they've done other artistic takes on the story. I'm dying to find out. But they have several companies of 10 actors each. And it's this mammoth undertaking. And I've been hired, and it'll be 1 week we'll do a play, and then we'll do the reading presentation. Then the next week we'll dive right into another one for 4 weeks, and they're going to.
It's a different play every week.
A different play every week that we'll work up and do a reading presentation. And then all the reading presentations will be scheduled. And I think it's every Shakespeare play. And all modernized with vibrant takes. I'm usually not that excited about modernizing Shakespeare, but these are great playwrights.
Oh, wow.
And Jeff Whitty did Midsummer Night's Dream, and I believe I'm going to be Titania.
Oh, nice.
Play. And Jeff's fantastic. Taylor Mack did Titus Andronicus.
Yeah.
And the sequel to this play that he wrote is on Broadway, Gary.
Yeah, I worked there.
I know, because he did the Titus Andronicus and then he did the Gary. Christina Anderson did Comedy of Errors. So we'll see. I still don't know the other place that I'm in, but that's mammoth. And what else? There's something else that's coming up. Oh my God. And I'm, like I said, I'm writing a web thing, and it's going to be 6. How long are your episodes?
Well, how long are they? Well, okay, so season 1, it was kind of weird. I didn't learn timing. So each episode varies from 5 minutes to about 17 minutes one episode is, or something like that. But for season 2, I sort of streamlined it and worked with the timing. So they're going to be anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes long. Okay.
I think I'm going to do like 6 or 5 or 6 6-minute episodes, just sort of, or 5 minutes, just little teaser installments.
Yeah.
Just to get, like you said, get content going.
Yeah.
And because we have to keep, we have to keep working. And we're here, we're queer, we do great work.
We do.
But business is, to gain that traction, that momentum, it's not always easy. I've been very lucky. I've done TV, I've done films, I've done Broadway, I've done a lot of regional theater. But in between those gigs, that's what we do. We
busy and doing stuff. And
yeah, I mean, it's important. And these days, content is king. The fact that you have a web series is a big deal these days. I mean, 20 years ago, I said, well, I did my own, I filmed my own, and like, yeah, whatever. But now content is king. And, there's one of the things that was suggested to me, get some content up, because that's a lot of sitcoms are being cast now.
Yeah, it's very true.
So, I mean, I'm still waiting for you, me, and Tim to be whisked away.
Right.
But yeah, so that's basically it for now. It's pilot season. A few auditions that went very well. There's auditions where you're perfect for the part, and there's auditions where you're like, this is not really me. But I'm so glad they wanted to meet me. And of course, we want to meet them.
Yeah. Always.
And there's and that's it. And then I filmed a documentary with Laverne Cox. There's it's going to be a documentary about a trans representation in film and television. And there's many talking heads and people working on it. And we'll see what happens with that. That was a lot of fun filming that. I was one of those days where I had to fly there, film something, fly back to do a reading. And then right after that, I just start rehearsals for the NAP. So that's when it's great, because you can complain that you fly back and forth to LA in 48 hours. And you're like, oh, they all want me. They all want a piece of me.
I would much rather have those problems than sitting around not having anything to do at all. I mean, that's why I try to stay busy with writing and tweaking and fundraising and all that, just so I'm busy doing something. There was one thing I wanted to mention was now I never out anybody in the normal sense, right? So like if someone's gay, I'm like, I never tell other people, oh, he's gay or she's lesbian or whatever, or they're trans, or I never did that. And I didn't know, not because I asked or I had a presumption, but I didn't know how out you are as a trans woman, and I didn't want to make it
what is trans? I don't know trans.
I didn't want to make it a big deal for you or for last call or whatever. I wanted you as a woman, the amazing entertainer that I know, to be in this story. But now that I see how powerful and important visibility is, and acknowledging identity for all its forms, the message it sends to a lot of young people, because I think we've all seen on social media and in the news, there are a lot of young people who are like we did when we were younger, we're claiming their identity now, where, after the Stonewall riots, gay people were out, we're here, we're queer, get used to it kind of thing. But it's become a very powerful movement through the generations all at once right now. So I'm proud and I'm grateful, and I love you very much. I am all of those things, excited that you're a part of this show, because it would not be anything without you guys, any of you. But it definitely, your character would not be right without you.
Well, thank you. It's also powerful it's also powerful to have an actress of trans experience just play a character, and she's cis, she's, that it's not the issue.
Right.
You want those roles. Someone laughed at me the other day because I said, in this respect, my hero is Denzel Washington. And they laughed. Denzel Washington's your hero. I said, yes, because his work is always excellent. And what he has achieved is, in his career, the ability to do a role in a project that's very much about the African American experience. Yeah. And then a project that's just about a guy driving a train. And they could have cast anyone in Hollywood, but they cast him. And that's how I feel about it. I mean, I think the trans stories are very important. But I also want to play roles where,
yeah,
I'm just a bitchy fashion editor, and do both, because I think representation, of all kinds is very important. But you don't want to be stuck constantly in one type of story. The whole point as an actor is you want to experience all these different lives. I want to play, like I said, I always want to play the bitchy fashion editor, the quirky coroner. I'd love to play a detective. I mean, I'd love that. And if she's trans, fine, great. But if it's constantly, you're paying a trans woman that's very unhappy, and then you're this big scene where you break down, and
becomes cliched.
Do that, you want to represent, but let's make it an expansive representation. Just showing up, just being there. I mean, they talk about, Oprah talks about seeing Diane Carroll as Julia. Just seeing Diane Carroll on television was so incredibly powerful for people to see. It's like, oh my God, like that.
Well, I gotta thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your napping to sit with us and chat a little bit.
Well, I work at night. I do bar on the weekends.
Yes, on the weekends, yeah. At Lips, right?
At Lips, which is another misconception. People think that once you've been in a movie or on television, that's all you ever do. And
right.
Years ago, I met someone, one of those guys that is in everything. He pops up in movies, TV shows. And he was talking about brushing off his real estate license. And I went up to him, and I guess I was in my early 30s. And I said, how can you have to do that? You're everywhere. You're in everything. He said, there's a handful of people that make $20 million a picture. The rest, and very few people can do nothing but act. And they're blessed, wonderful. He said, the rest of us, because it's been years since I had to do real estate, but
yeah,
there's a gap. And he goes, it's not like I have to do it, but if I don't do it, money's not coming in, So there are definitely times where I don't have to bartend, but I have the time. I'm in between gigs, and the money has to come in. If the money's not coming in, you're spending your nest egg. That's a really long explanation, but people out there know that. It's like you really
know, yeah. They come in with delusional knowledge, or uninformed and uneducated idea of what it means to the process. Once they get out of school, or once they get there, they realize, oh, this is not at all what I thought. But okay, I guess gonna have to pay the bill somehow. I mean, that's why I'm an usher on Broadway. It allows me to work on all of my stuff during the day, audition when it comes up, and then I work at night.
That's a great, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's all kinds of, and then working in a restaurant is great because with there are other actors, because then you get something you can take off, and usually your job will be there when you come back. So Lips has been great because it's afforded me. I can do lots of regional stuff. I can do Broadway.
Yeah.
I think, oh, maybe this will lead to something right away, and then something right away, and and I don't have to, but it's good, and I work with the most amazing girls.
Yeah.
And our general manager Charlie. So we work very hard, but we have fun.
This has been fun. Do you like? I love how we're next to my plugs. It's okay.
It's
my background changes all the time. I think I had a dildo out once, and people laughed at that. Like, oh, oops.
Line in the fire.
Well, thank you very much, Bianca, for talking with us and letting the fans get to know you and learn more about you. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for Bianca Leigh on social media, you can find her not so much on Instagram, but you can see her on Facebook everywhere. Check out her stuff when you get a chance. Sign up for her announcements, because her cabaret shows are everything to go and see. And my darling, thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye, everybody.